of schools. The new elementary school was completed in 1958 and was used in conjunction with the old elementary school, which was completed circa 1945. The year 1959 was marked by the retirement of one of Fairgrove's longtime cooks, Mrs. Ruth Schwarzenbach, retired after many years as one of the school's cooks. The senior class had 33 graduates. There was a senior class play in 1959, but they didn't know what it was going to be called when the annual was put together, or they forgot to tell Winston McMillan, the Eagle editor. The 1960 senior class play was Campus Quarantine. There were 39 graduates in this year. The graduating class of 1961 had 40 members and started the year calling themselves the Sophisticated Seniors. The senior class play was Look Behind You. The year was marked by a slight disturbance involving where lunches could be consumed. If you want details on this event, just ask any member of the 1961 class. Mr. John Ewing completed his last year as Fairgrove Superintendent in 1961. The 1961 and 62 school year began with a new superintendent, Mr. Robert Thomas. The senior class had 31 graduates. There is no mention of a senior class play in the 1962 annual, so the writer assumed the class had too many bad actors. After serving many years, this was the final year for Mr. Charlie Farmer to serve as custodian. Mr. Clifford McMillan served with Mr. Farmer for many years. The class of 1963 had 29 graduates. The senior class play was Lock, Stock, and Lipstick. The class motto was Find a Path or Make One. The class of 1964 had 40 graduates. Katie Chapman was elected Eagle Queen, and Joni Hill was elected Eagle King. Joetta Jeffries was the Drum and Bugle Corps Majorette. Each year at the Alumni Banquet, classes that are celebrating their 50th year after graduation are recognized. This year, we recognized the class of 1965, which had 46 graduates.
Also today, I'm visiting with Mr. Larry Allball, and he was the senior class president of the class of 65. And each year at the Alumni Banquet, we take the time to celebrate the classes that are celebrating 50 years of graduation. So that's why we have Larry here today, and thank you, Larry, for taking time out of your work schedule. I understand you're still working.
Yes, very actively working.
50 years ago, whenever you graduated, what did you anticipate that you might be doing at this time?
Well, I can honestly say I wasn't sure, but I had at that time committed to a training program at St. John's Hospital for X-ray technologists. So that was my immediate thought process. I must confess I simply didn't think very far out into the future.
Okay. Well, I don't think you're too different from everybody else. What is the most memorable thing that happened in the class of 1965?
Well, I've checked with several of my classmates, and unfortunately no one could come up with anything grander than a senior trip we took that year to a lake that had a very crazy name to me called Lake Ten Killer in Oklahoma, and apparently we went to a town called Gore, Oklahoma, which is close to that lake. And one of my classmates points out that it was a dude ranch, and she puzzled about why country kids would go to a dude ranch, but that was a nice experience at the lake.
Okay. And I understand that there was actually 39 graduates in the class of 65. Have any of those class members passed on?
They have, and I have a list. I can't give you the time frames when they passed. I do want to point out that one of our classmates, whose name is Jack Goss, although we knew him always as Scrappy, I'm sorry to say perished within less than a year of our graduation. He had joined the Marines and he died in Vietnam. But I'd like to give you the list that, as I know it.
Okay.
Don Lucas, Ronnie McCurry, Donnie Rebold, Ron Dickens, and Danny Jakes, I believe also was in our class and has perished.
Okay. Well, thank you for mentioning those names. We want to recognize them
Certainly.
from your class, and everyone here has enjoyed a bit of this history of the class of 65, and appreciate you coming over and sharing with us tonight.
You're very
Thanks.
welcome. Thank you.